Boom. Yo, what's up, everybody? Yo, what's up, everybody? Yo, this is the 58th episode of the Indoor Face Show. And I'm here with my main man, the legendary, the beast, Robert Parham.
How
Introduce
you
yourself to my
doing?
brother.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
It's awesome. No problem, brother. No problem, brother. So introduce yourself. What you want to introduce to people? Talk to people. Yeah, I mean, talk to people.
So, if you know me, you know me. If you don't know me, I'm gonna give you a quick history of myself. I was born in Staten Island, New York. Grew up in Hillside, New Jersey. Still keep in touch with a lot of my friends there. Caught the acting bug early. I was in all the school plays and this, that, and the other. Then they took a guy from. I joined the Air Force. They took a guy from the city. Oh, let me back up. I got beat up in the fifth grade by a girl. Her name was Mylene Dejoie. And after that, my dad started teaching me Tai Chi and Judo, etc. and so forth. But I wasn't a fighter. I started to learn how to box, but I still wasn't a fighter. It wasn't until I went to the Air Force. I mean, I had a couple of amateur fights, but I wasn't a real fighter. I got into the Air Force, and they took a guy out of the city and put him in the country. So I got stationed in Biloxi, Mississippi, on the Gulf Coast
Ah,
for 20 years. I was in the Air Force and ran into this incredible martial arts instructor, Dr. Lonzo Jones. He took me in as a student and opened up a school after he left, where I carried the school and opened up a commercial school, and then opened up a few commercial schools. And now I have my students are running the schools down there. So
awesome.
uh, retired because of Katrina, came to California, and wanted to do films. So here I am doing films with some of the legends in black cinema history. I don't like to use the word black exploitation. Black cinema history. I'm working with
Wow.
guys like Fred Williamson, um, Gloria Hendry, Cinda Williams. I'm getting ready to do a film with Hawthorne James. I mean, I was dreaming about stuff like this long, long time ago, and I'm actually doing it. So, hey, that's my history, a little bit of my history, but it goes deep. I've done a lot of things because I don't like to sit still. I don't like to sit still. I always got to do something. If I'm not doing, wasn't doing the martial arts, um, running schools, fighting in a ring. Actually, a couple, maybe 10 years ago, I had one mixed martial arts match because I had to know what it was like being in a cage. I usually was kickboxing, which is different, but I got into the cage just to test myself, and I fortunately came out victorious. But I'm never doing that shit again. So, I was so
I
sore.
feel
My
you.
so sore. So that's me in a nutshell.
Well, I mean, so tell us about the movie Mad as Hell, because I know she mad. I know she mad. She got to be mad. Mad as fuck.
Bad as hell. So I have an affinity for movies made in the '70s.
Ah,
And like I said, I don't like to use the term black exploitation, but there was something missing that uh, from a movie that I really admire. I really admire Death Wish. I really like Death Wish, the first one.
okay,
It
okay,
was like,
okay.
let's take Death Wish basically and turn it more urban. You know,
Uh
so
huh.
I wrote a script. I got my man, the original G Man of hip hop, who was part of the Sugar Hill family. Worked with Rob Bass and Easy Rock, and he's got a song on a soundtrack. The soundtrack will be out pretty soon. And I enlisted my good friend, my little sister, I call her Cinda Williams, and we did this thing, man. And I think it's by far the best movie I've ever done. Uh,
Okay, okay.
because it's a little more drama than just action. And actually, I had one of my first acting coach as company. He's in my next movie coming up called The Thirst, but he was here and he had never saw it. So I let him see the cut, and tears were rolling down his eyes during some parts of the movie because it was really touching him. And that man doesn't move like that. So I know
Wow.
it had something special. So it'll be out on Tubi TV, Hoopla, Vudu, I think Amazon on September 13th. But we're having our premiere here in Sacramento on the 24th at the legendary Guild Theater. So I'm excited about that. Like I said, the soundtrack is banging. We got Cinda Williams, we got Donna Allen, we got Jay Chosen, who was just on what was that? Not America's Got Talent. It's The Voice. I think it was The Voice. Was it The Voice? I think it was The Voice he was on. We got Nocturnal. You remember Nocturnal? Yeah, he was our music supervisor, so he's got some slamming cuts on there. We got Q Ali Bay. We got Wallet Green. The soundtrack is absolutely slamming. So
Awesome.
the movie and the soundtrack, and they're both gonna move you, both of them.
Well, you know that cover looks like a 70s it has a
Yeah,
70s vibe to it because it's like
yeah,
I used to watch what's that movie called? Original Gangster.
uh-huh.
I used to watch Dolomite.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch oh man, I forget that movie. But I think it was Black Dynamite, I think, with the but
Like,
older, but
like,
it was older.
oh, yeah.
The black
Those
part,
movies,
black part.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Three the Hard Way, and
Yeah.
yeah, the
My
Black
cause my
just
dad,
style.
yeah, yeah, because my dad used to watch them, and
Yeah.
I used to sit with him and watch him because like he was a 70s fanatic, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
I actually get it, you know what I mean? I get why y'all do this type of stuff because you know what I'm saying? Guys like Fred Williams, Jim Brown, Pam Grier, all those people paved the way for black, actresses and black actors to really get those big roles like they had,
Yeah.
and I grew up watching Pam Grier. She actually
Mm-hmm.
was my crush. I still have a crush on her. You know what I mean? I still have a crush on Pam Grier. I still like. Oh my gosh, she's so sexy. But and I'm only 33, so you know what I mean. I'm young, but you know what I mean. I grew up watching it with my dad, so I
Yeah.
understand. I understand a lot of the talk. Oh, you
Mm-hmm.
jive turkey, you know what I mean, and
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean, and yeah.
Bernard.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it makes you get excited to see those kind of movies because when you're able to understand those movies and able to see those movies and
Mm-hmm.
really dig deep on those movies, you get to understand what blacks were going through at
Mm-hmm.
that time.
Mm-hmm.
And Fred Williamson, he was just getting into the game during that time. You know what I mean? He was young.
Fred is one of the, if you call it, I like to call it one of the original independent filmmakers. He had three things: he couldn't die in a movie, he couldn't lose a fight, and he gets the girl in the end if he wants. Okay,
Yeah.
those three things if you wanted to hire Fred. And
Hmm.
so he's told me stories like when they were shooting Black Caesar. If you watch Black Caesar, where he gets shot and he is walking down New York, holding his, they had the camp, they guerrillaed that scene. It was a total, they didn't have no permits, nothing. People were
Oh
actually,
wow.
he was hurt, people were trying to stop and help him. And if you look at the scene, you can see it. You know, they just
Wow.
did it. That's
Wow.
guerrilla filmmaking.
Wow. So
Take the
the hell
call,
just
Ray.
happened?
So that's
Oh, okay,
guerrilla
okay.
guerrilla filmmaking 101. You can't do that. I mean, like, I don't want to say you can't do that, but you have to appreciate that. You know,
Right.
that's what we're doing today. Fred was doing that 40 years ago. You know,
That's awesome.
40, 50 years ago. So he's got he's a master teacher. I if I have
Awesome.
a question about film and how, I mean, who better than to get advice from people like Fred, people like Hawthorne James. He's another gem. Hawthorne James is just incredible. That man there is incredible, and he can act. You know, there's actors and there's thespians. Hawthorne James is a thespian. That guy is incredible. You know, I
Awesome,
had the
awesome.
opportunity to direct him on set a couple, I guess it was last year, year before last. He's incredible, incredible, man. Oh man,
Awesome.
the scene and brought tears in my eyes. I was like, oh, Brian,
Had you going crazy. Got to
he
go,
had me
man.
going.
Shit.
He
Man, you
had-
got to crying and shit. You know what I mean?
so when you have mentors like that,
Hey, Chrissy.
hey Christy, you have those mentors, you know, and they help you. I mean, I didn't get here by myself. I didn't start doing
Right,
movies because, you know, I had people who took the time to guide me, you know, guys like Jim Kelly. We were
right.
really, really close before he passed away. My cousin, Gloria Hendry, first
Uh-huh.
black Bond girl, Art Camacho,
Wow.
Conan Lee, you know, all of these guys reached out to help me. You know, when I asked for it, they
Oh,
helped
wow.
me. They gave me advice. They gave me direction. You know, so I'm
Right.
doing the best I can. I stand on their shoulders. They're giants, and I just stand on their shoulders. That's all.
Well, back then when I was getting into the comic book game, you know what I'm saying? Uh, shit, China McCoy. China actually was one of my biggest mentors because
Yeah.
he basically took me, and showed me a lot of things that I didn't see that I needed to see that he helped me get
Mm-hmm.
started, you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm very thankful,
Yeah. Ch-
but yeah,
ch-
like, like what do you feel about, you know, acting? Do you feel that acting is an art and a form of expression, or do you think it's just a person that just do it?
I think it's an art form. So I was taught acting stands for authentic cinematic truth. So if you
Okay.
don't make a person believe that you are actually going through some emotions or some kind of whatever's going on in the script or whatever, then you're not doing your job. You know, there are a lot of
Right.
actors who just kind of walk through things. You know, I had an opportunity to work with Eric Roberts not long ago. Yo, he's incredible. You know, he's
Right.
one of the people who could turn it on and turn it off. You know, but he's been
Right.
doing this a long time. You know, a really
Right.
long time.
Right.
You know, there are some actors who aren't far away from who they really all are personally. You know,
Right.
so you can take, and there's some actors who are the same person in every movie that you see.
Right.
You can take this character out of this movie and put it in this movie, and it's the same thing. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
there's no cinematic truth there. You know,
Right.
you have to bend, and I think that's what Man as Hell does. It's different for me. It's really, I want to say, my first real time to express and emote. I think when I did Jackson Bolt, I was like angry all the time. Um, my character was angry, and which is kind of different from who I really am. But I don't feel like I was really acting. You know, here in Mad as Hell, I'm really acting.
He said Newark Studio said I've been here, just resigned instead of through the link.
There you go.
LOL.
People just blowing my phone up. But through here in Mad as Hell, I had really the opportunity to act, and I'm very proud of what we put out.
Very awesome. You know.
I see Franklin Korea is in the audience. I'm here, just signed in instead of through the link. Okay. So Franklin Korea is another excellent independent filmmaker. When I talk about guerrilla filmmaking, he's a guy who
Awesome.
who who makes something out of nothing.
Awesome.
Uh,
I would like to introduce. I would like to interview you, man. Come on, let's talk.
yeah,
Let's get your book.
we're gonna book
Let's
you,
get your
Frank.
book. But okay. Was there ever a time in your acting life where you had stage fright, where you felt like you just, oh man, I'm just nervous, you know? Yeah.
I think the first day we shot on Jackson Bolt, I was pretty nervous. I was pretty nervous. As a matter of fact, I was also a little apprehensive when me and Fred shot our first scene together. I think that's when he is in his office and he's talking to me. Um, and the script called for like 2 or 3 pages of dialogue, but Fred just improvised it. I think Fred just looked at the script and said, "I'm gonna do this what the Fred Williamson way." And he says, "This is it, right? Everything." Then he looks at me and says, "Get out." In my head, hey, that's not in the script.
It's crazy. Yeah, I'm like, damn, it was just
So
leave me. Yeah,
yeah, so he
you know
taught
what I
me
mean?
that taught me this. As an actor, even though you're emoting and you're staying in this character, you have to be quick on your feet.
Right, right,
Because if I didn't react to that, if I didn't respond to that, the scene would have been dead. But he really
right,
he threw that curveball on me. I was like, oh, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? So I just smiled and left, to enhance the scene.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. See me, you know what I'm saying? I'd have been like, I'd have forgot all my lines. I'd have been like, damn, shit. What do I say? What do I say?
He did that, and then he did another one that threw me off my game. There was a scene where we're supposedly in his house, and I am in his refrigerator, and I grab a beer, and I can't remember the script, but he added something. He said, "What are you doing in my refrigerator anyway?" I was like, "Ooh, that's not in the script." That's not the script. What am I supposed to say? And I came back with, "I was thirsty." But he caught me totally off guard. So
Right.
I was a little nervous there, and I'm gonna say I was um, a little. I don't want to say nervous. Cinda and I have a scene in Mad as Hell where our characters are coming to a realization of who we are. It's almost like the scene with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino in Heat. You know,
Mm-hmm.
know who you
Mm-hmm.
are. I know who you are. I know what you do. I know what you do. You know, so we come to this mutual agreement of our characters of who we really are, and that wasn't. I wouldn't call it nerves, but maybe a little apprehension because Cinda is another person who I think is an underrated actress.
Right, right.
I had an opportunity to work with her a couple of years ago, and she just blew the roof off of stuff. And here, you know, Cinda usually plays or has played usually the beautiful femme fatale. She's always this beautiful, gorgeous. So here, I wanted to bring her beauty down, so to speak. I wanted to make
Mm-hmm.
her just plain Jane. It's a really, really, really different role for Cinda. So make her this real
Awesome.
plain Jane, and through that plain Jane, you see her acting skills. You're not looking at Cinda for her beauty. You're not looking at her for her past roles. You're looking at her acting skills, and she brought it, man. She
Awesome.
really brought it. You know. So yeah, those are a few times where I was a little off my game, a little nervous there, so to speak.
Awesome. Awesome. So when it comes to being who you are, as a person, have you ever felt that, have you ever felt Like, matter of fact, let me phrase the question. Have you ever been through an emotional time on it on the set?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So when we were doing Jackson Bolt, I had just went through this divorce, you know. So I brought that into my character, you know. So I was angry all the time. My character was angry all the time. You know, my character is walking on the edge. You know, now I wasn't saying I was walking on the edge, but I can understand, I can relate it. So what I was going through, I brought those emotions into Jackson Bolt, and I really, like I said, it wasn't really my first time to act because I was just relating something almost what I was going through. You know, if you've seen Jackson Bolt, you'll see that my character's wife, um, him and her aren't seeing eye to eye, and this, that, and the other. It's really disturbing who he is as a character, as a person. So I understood that. I think that any character you play, you have to bring some kind of emotional content and relate it to something that you went through in your life to make it true. You know,
Right, right, right.
it's that's real. I think important to serve your audience. I don't think if I hadn't gone through what I went through, I don't think I would have brought Jackson Bolt's character to where he was supposed to have been. You know, he might have been a happy-go-lucky,
Okay.
not shoot everybody. You know, but because I was going through what I was going through, I was, you know, Jackson Bolt's character. Instead of arresting people, he just wanted to shoot people. You know, mad cop.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. So, you being, what was your favorite character to play out of
This
all
guy
the movies you did?
This guy. Well, actually, there's two. One of them, I did this. We did a promo short that we're trying to get funding for this character, Buster Jones. So
Awesome.
I'm Buster Jones is a guy from the '70s, and now it's 1984, and he's a semi-pro basketball player that just can't make it to the big leagues. You know, and he's a
No.
black karate, and he finds out his cousin is kidnapped and gets killed, and he wants to solve his cousin's murder with the help of his friend who's a cop. And they find out that there's a bigger plot to blow up the 1984 Olympics. So that was one of my favorite characters. Now I get to wear the
Awesome.
big afro and the Converses, you know, those booty tight basketball shorts that they wore back in the day. So the short film is cut like a trailer. It's on YouTube. Buster Jones. This is probably my second best character, Michael Azrael, because I'm not a superhero. I'm just a normal guy. I don't have any combat skills. You know, I have a beautiful family. I'm an insurance salesman. You know, I'm just making money. And what will drive a guy who has everything he wants in life to be mad as hell? You know, so
Right,
that was
right, right,
I had to really, really, really dig deep into some character development for this. You know,
right.
I looked at Death Wish, and Charles Bronson's character was I mean he was a not a real estate guy. What do you call him? An engineer. You know, making architect. I'm sorry, making buildings and that and the other. But I never really seen him vulnerable, you know,
Mm.
emotionally vulnerable in Death Wish. And so that's what I brought to Mad as Hell. I made my character emotionally vulnerable. And so I think that I did a damn good job.
Awesome. I think you did the job too. I think you did it. I think I did it. Mama, I did it. All right, all right. I feel you. I feel you. So, you know, when you look at your body of work as a actor,
Mhm.
do you think that you've done a lot, or do you think you still got more in you to do?
I definitely have more in me because you have to.
Do 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 do. doo doo. Somebody's calling them again.
Yeah, there we go. I'm back. People keep trying to call me. If you're watching this Gary Turner, I'm on. I'm doing an interview. But you have to evolve. You have to take your last project, your last character, and raise the next one. And then after that one, you got to be here, and you got to be here. You got to keep climbing. You got to keep striving to be the best character, the best actor that you could be. You know,
Right.
and you don't measure that by awards, even though I'm gonna say I'm gonna plug Mad as Hell again. We won like 17 or 18 awards on a film festival circuit. Um,
Damn.
there has only been one film festival that we entered where we didn't place number one. You know, and everybody,
Damn.
G-Man's got a award for best supporting actor. Gary Turner's got an award for best supporting actor. Cinda Williams got an award for best actress. Elise Hollywood Evans got an award for best supporting actress. I got an award for best actor. We got best director. We got best soundtrack, best film, best urban action film, best action film. We got a gamut of awards for this. But I'm saying that to say this, that every project you do, every character you play, you have to step your game up. You know, you can't. You're only as good as your last movie. You know, you're only as good as your last
Man.
movie, and you know that translates to just about everything in life. If you're into sports, you're only as football or baseball or basketball or boxing. You're only as good as your last game. You know,
Right.
so you
Basketball, you're only as good as the weakest link.
there you
You
go.
know, the weakest person on the field, that's the one that's that you're gonna have to pick up. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because yeah, it is. I learned that. I learned that in comics. You have to. You're only as good as your is what you say. You're only as good as your last project. You know what I'm saying? And if your first project don't hit, you got to come with the fire on the next one.
you
You
got
got to
to.
keep on going.
Got to keep going. Never stop. The only reason for you to stop is when it's time for you to close your eyes for real on this earth. You got to keep going forward, man. You got to keep raising the
Right.
bar. Keep raising the bar. You know, I've got some projects behind this that I'm doing a vampire movie that I'm trying to really raise the bar for. I've never done horror. I was never really a big fan of horror, but I'm trying to do something different so I can raise the bar, my bar, and everybody that's, on my team, Jim Meyer, uh, Amy Naylor, Gary Turner, Elise Evans, Nakia Bryant, everybody that's in our circle. And I know I left some names out too, Tu and Paul Yang and Vert Wright, and everybody that's in our group collectively of Mayhem Films. We always try to raise the bar. You
Awesome.
got to raise the bar.
Awesome. So, do you feel that raising the bar, do you feel that raising the bar has gotten you all your movie roles, or do you feel that you've gotten some of those roles just by word of mouth about people talking
Well,
about you?
here's the thing about independent filmmaking. Because I am an independent filmmaker, because I own my own equipment, I own the cameras, I own the software, I own the lights, I own the mic, etc. and so forth. I make my own movies.
Mm,
I When I first came to California, I was auditioning for films, and of course, you're either gonna be, as a black person, you're gonna be the thug, or you're gonna be a cop. That's it.
mm,
In a limited role. If you're not a name actor, if you're not a B-lister or A-lister, you're gonna have a limited role. So I actually went for some role, and I can't remember what it was, but another actor got it, and I saw the movie after it came out, and the movie wasn't, to me, wasn't as stellar as it should have been because of the actor. I didn't feel like he carried the role the way he should. I didn't feel like he put out some authentic cinematic truth. So that day, I started writing my own movies. um, um, and doing my own thing. You
Oh
know,
well, click off.
I saw that guy said boring.
Click off. Bye. You know what I mean? But nah, but I feel what you're saying, Um you have to be able to, pick up yourself and build build on that success. And I
Yeah,
learned that as a businessman, I learned that as a businessman, you have to be able to, um, when it comes to big deals, you have to
mm,
be able to articulate what you want. You know what I'm saying? You have to be
yes,
able to think, and you have to be able to carry yourself the right way because people pay attention to your confidence and they pay
exactly,
attention to the body language. You know
exactly,
what I'm saying?
exactly,
They don't look at the product. They look at you because you're the face of the product.
exactly. You're the brand. So if you're
Yeah,
gonna be the
exactly.
brand, make sure you're one hell of a brand. You know,
Exactly.
so we
The
do our own
mother
thing. We don't wait for studios. We don't wait for people to give us a role, et cetera, and so forth. We'll write a script. I'll write a script. Jim Meyer will write a script, and we'll just shoot it. And we get distribution. Our movie,
awesome.
Peacock, Hoopla, Voodoo, Tubi. They're all over. You know.
It's crazy. Shit, when I do a damn movie TV series. Well, I want to do a mini series of Jarhead. I'm gonna talk to you, shit, because I'm gonna need some help.
Okay, I got the connections, man.
Hell yeah, man, shit. Give me some money, I get it done.
I got them plugs. Yeah.
you know, and I feel like because I've been watching you and China for years, and I'm like, man, like y'all have had made some big roles for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was wondering how come y'all never made it to the big time, to the big leagues, to the big.
Well, I think it depends what you call big league. So Hollywood only allows a certain amount of minorities. Minorities is the word they give to the majority of the people in the world now. Understand that. But they only allow
Okay,
a
okay,
certain amount of minorities through the door at a time. Who's the hot guy right now? Kevin Hart, maybe? You know,
right.
Michael B. Jordan, you know, Eddie Murphy's making a resurgence, but he's been through the door. But I'm talking about young and up and comers. You know,
And nowadays you gotta do stuff to get where you want to be.
yeah.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
about that, I can, and I'm speaking for myself. I can continue to do what I'm do, and I'm happy making independent films. Um, I can do them forever. I don't have to be attached to a big studio, Sony or Paramount or whoever. I don't have to do all of that. I am satisfied doing what I do. I mean, what is stardom anyway? Stardom is when I fill up my thank you, brother. When I fill up my 1040 at the end of the year, and do my taxes, I don't put star because being a
Right.
star is not a job. You can't
Right.
derive income from being a star.
Right.
I can derive income from being an actor. And
Right.
so I'm happy with what I'm doing.
Right.
Um, I don't have to be all in it because then at that point, uh, you lose your privacy. Now everybody wants a
Right.
piece of money. Everybody wants to be next to you. Everybody wants your autograph. Everybody wants to take a picture with you. There was a point in time where I was with some people of note, and we were at this club, and the guy who I was with, he couldn't eat. Because people kept coming once they found out he was there. They kept wanting to take pictures with him, take pictures of autographs. I was like, wow, that's what it's like. You know,
Oh wow.
you can keep that. You can keep that. I don't need that in my life.
Wow. And that's see, it's amazing how, you see those things that what's going on in Hollywood, and a lot of people act like they don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like for example, okay, you see the stuff in your in right in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
and you getting the red flags. Don't bat.
Mm-hmm.
Do. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you not even listening to the red flag? And it's like people understand, like, and I see a lot of people, like it's like people wanting to be rappers. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be a rapper.
You're
You
right.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Everybody wants to be an actor, but they don't want to go through the shit to get where they want to be.
That's true, man. And everybody doesn't have the far sight. They're nearsighted. Everybody wants the fame and the fortune. You know,
Right,
be nice to cash a $2 or $3 million check. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh man, I wouldn't want that. Yeah, that's nice. But what do you have to do to get to that point? Is
right.
it all about acting? Is it
Or is it
all
about
about
kissing ass?
or are there other
It's
things that you have to do?
that's one of them.
You see what I'm saying?
you
So
know,
that's I'm it's for me. It's just not worth it. I'm not gonna sell my soul for some money or some earthly goods. All that shit is gonna be here when I leave. You know,
and
all of
it's
this.
crazy. It's crazy. Like I ask um a lot of actors that I know.
Mhm.
Um, have you ever seen stuff like that? Have you ever been through stuff like that? And some of them be like, no, I haven't. Because a lot of them don't sell their soul. A lot of them don't take that bait and just, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like this, once you take that bait, you know what I'm saying, and you do that thing they got video cameras, they got
You
tapes,
know,
they got all that stuff on you.
it's it's like a gang. You get jumped in, you can't get out. It's like the mafia.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I I've been approached. Okay, I've been indirectly approached. Let's put it like that. But I keep that shit at arm's length. I'm not interested in it. I have
I
no
feel
interest
you.
in that bullshit.
I feel you. And that's people need to understand. People need to learn from guys like you. People need to learn from guys to God. Learn from guys like China McCoy, and people need to learn from guys that's been in a business that's clawing their way to the top. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
doing it the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And that want the right recognition for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen the people that kiss ass just to get to the top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
I,
know,
to each his own. To each his own. But that's never gonna happen to me. I tell you that. You know,
right?
as
You
long as I
know,
own my own shit. If I don't have a computer or a camera, you best believe I'm going to have a friend that has a computer or a camera, or a girlfriend who has a computer or a camera. I am not going to be um, the chair maker and not own my own chair.
right,
At the end
right.
of
It's like you know, the and have you I've noticed that when you take that bait,
the.
you don't own the rights to any of the stuff that you make. Like
Yeah, you don't. You
that's
don't.
wild.
You don't.
That's wild.
So what happens, and you got to learn. So learn from that period of the movies of the 70s, right? So all of those stars, all those people that we used to see, that we used to admire, a few of them are still acting. You know, what happened at the end of the decade, at the end of the 70s? They're not making movies anymore. They're not in the public eye anymore. Why? Why is that?
Mm,
Because they don't own their stuff, because they're not the directors, they're not the writers, They're not the producers. You know, they're just the actors. So
That's
hey,
wild.
think about that.
See, and that's the thing, that's why I always wonder, you got the Kevin Harts, you got the Michael B. Jordans, you got the Will Smiths, all those guys, like, all with all those, I don't know. I see in me, you can see what happened,
Hmm.
but if you're in there personally and it personally happened to you, you don't know
Hmm.
what happened. But I'm I'm interviewing you
Let
and
me
you're
let me
telling me this stuff.
let me tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. You know when someone's on the in crowd as an actor because you'll see them in a dress.
Wow. Wow. That's true. That's true, that is true, that's true. I've actually I've seen some of my favorite actors and favorite comedians, in
Hmm.
dresses,
Black
and
and white. Black and white. Think about it.
yeah. Wow. Hey, I thought it was a race thing, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was like, wow. Ooh, damn. That's a wake up call. That's that's a wake up call because, that makes you wonder, and I was told that they go after people with influence. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If you have influence over people, they're coming.
You see the culture of these. I don't want to denigrate anybody, but you see the culture of rappers today. Not like when I was growing up or when you were growing up. You got rappers wearing dresses and all kind of. I saw one guy with a diamond in his forehead or some shit that he had.
Hmm. I
And
forget his
so
name.
yeah, and so they influence the people who listen to them, the people who, I don't want to say look up to them, but people who aspire to be like them. So they are wearing dresses, and yeah, I guess if that's your thing, that's your thing. You know, that's not my thing. I know it's not my
Right.
dad's thing or my grandfather or my great great grandfather. It's just not our
Right.
thing. And
You
so
know, but
it's just I just think that there can be a better message that's put out. Just put it like
I
that.
think so too. You know, if people think that it's weird that we're talking about this shit, like you're not in touch with real life. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in touch with the
you
fairy tale land. You know what I'm saying? Because
gotta
this
you
is
gotta
real
keep
life.
you gotta keep it real, man. You gotta keep it real. I saw this rapper the other day. I guess he was. It's the older story. He was being chased on his water ski by some police or something, and I was like, "Who is this?" You know, got his hair pickaninny out to the side and up to the top. Got the grill. Spot him,
I
got
think
him.
I think
That's
I think it was I think it's the Island Boys. I think one of the
no.
Island
It
Boys.
was
I think.
Spot him, got him. His name is Spot him, got him. I was like,
Oh
do you
shit.
see this shit? I was like, you see this? I've never heard him rap, so maybe he's a good rapper. I don't know, but just the image that I saw, I just had to shake my head, man.
And see, this is what the in your face show is about. You know what I'm saying? We speak about things that nobody wants to speak about. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying?
Uh-huh.
And I could care less if people think people trying to cancel me and all that shit. But
Uh-huh.
see, as a thing, if you speaking the truth, people are going to hate you for it. You know, and I love this attitude. I love the way. we're speaking about this because this is the stuff that needs to be spoken on. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like, for example, it's like, would you rather be a part of the solution or part of the problem? You know what
Hey
I'm
man,
saying?
there's a line in a Bruce Lee movie, Game of Death. I'd rather die a broken piece of jade than to live a life of clay.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Hmm.
Think about it. I'd rather die a broken piece of jade. So jade is, you know, expensive. Jade is pretty, you know. So I'd rather go out on my principles than to live a life of clay. Than to just, what is clay? Clay is
Dirt.
dirt, you know. So
Because if you notice, that's where we came from. Dirt. You know what I'm saying? We
exactly,
came from dirt. You know what
came
I'm
from this. You
saying?
got to recycle to it, you know. But
And the thing about it is that when I see when I see people, not listening to the truth, the real truth. I'm not talking about the jaded, though, the one that's the jaded truth. The what I mean by the jaded truth is like sprinkle them with lies, sprinkle them
oh
with
yeah,
lies. I'm talking about the real truth, the truth
hmm
that has no lies in it, the truth that's that you feel like you have to know it. The
hmm
truth that actually sets you free.
hmm
And you know, the person that just said boring, you do not realize if we're not talking about this, the problem's still going on and you're still enslaved. You know,
right. And also, from a cinematic, I guess you can say, or a numbers perspective, people who aren't in tune with your show, people who criticize you or criticize me or whoever, guess what? You watched it.
yeah, exactly.
You watched it. So
I
we did
mean,
our job. We did our job. Yeah.
exactly. And the thing about it is that like, have you ever been in a position when being being an actor, have you ever felt beaten down by
Oh,
a fellow actor or actress?
yeah. 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 I have. Um, uh, Maybe one or two occasions, and I learned to adjust about that from that, because what you can't do is take that um, you can't take that ass whipping that someone gave you and stay down on yourself. You have to know who you are, you know.
Right,
So in a sense, it's one of those, you get knocked down, you got to get back up. It's a sense, it's an awakening, you know. So you might get slammed, and someone's just they're just acting, and you just can't hang with them. But you're gonna
right,
learn about yourself. You're gonna learn, do I really want to do this? Am I really, because people think acting, you just go up there and say a couple lines. Acting is totally different. It's different. It's deep. It's deep. You leave your emotions, your sweat on the stage, on the screen, in front of the camera. It's exhausting. It's really exhausting. People think it's an easy thing. It's not, you know. And so you learn who you really are. Am
right,
I really gonna do this? Am I gonna be at that person's level? And you have to learn not to take anything personally. Someone is just, they're acting, they're doing their job. So you need to do yours. At the end of
right,
the day, you need to do yours.
right,
Okay, and it's not a competition. It's not about competing. It's about the authentic cinematic truth. Are you going to bring the truth out in yourself for this character? Are you going to do it?
right.
If not, don't waste your time. Let somebody else who can do it do it.
Right, right. So when it came to, is there one actor or one actress that you just was okay? We ain't going to get into that. Was there? Have you ever been in a position where you been around the most, been around some actresses or actors that were, how can I say, very arrogant and ignorant and mean towards the other fellow actors and actresses?
Ooh, yeah, yeah, I have. I don't want to speak on it because I don't want to, call anybody out or throw anybody under the bus. But yes, I have. I have, and it's not a pretty sight. There are some people who think that they can't be touched, who have their chin in the air, who think they're more than a human being, and they uh, need to be catered to and acted a certain way and presented a certain way and spoke to a certain way. Or, well, you can't talk to me, you have to talk to my my representative who's standing right there and he talks to me. What is that? You're standing right
Wow,
there, what do I have to talk to him to talk to you? You're standing right there. So yeah, there
wow,
there have been there have been instances of that, and I find that to be for people who are really, um, there's a thing as arrogance, but I think that arrogance comes from deep insecurities. You know, so whatever transpired in a person's life to make them insecure, they flip it in arrogance, and that's just my take on it. And yeah, I've seen it a few times. You know,
wow. Okay, I got a hard question. So, so was there ever a time where you just felt like I got this shit? It's easy. I mean, you ever
no,
walked into a set that, yeah, you ever walked into a set where you felt like, man, fuck it, I got this shit. This is gonna be easy.
no,
I don't know
never.
why I just asked that question the same
I
time, two
really,
times.
never, never. I have a thing. It's a ritual where I'll go over my lines, but I really won't get down into my lines until I'm on the set or the day before I go to the set. Because once you relax like that, once you let your guard down, once you think you're the be all, know all, end all, you start to slip. You'll slip.
Mm,
Your craft suffers. You suffer as an actor, you suffer as a producer, you suffer as a director, or whatever role that you're playing, whether it's hair, makeup, PA, whatever you're doing, you'll suffer, and you don't want to do that. So I never go to a set like, oh, I got this. Never, 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 because I could have a bad day. I could
right,
have a bad day
right,
on set. Hey,
right, right. Have you ever been in a time where like, have you ever seen where some actors get cut off of being in a movie and
yeah, I've seen that too. Actor will start out and they're just not the right one, and so they do some footage, and if too much footage isn't shot, depending on the budget, switch them out, or they kill off their character, and let somebody else take over and they beef up someone else's character to be the hero. Yeah, I've seen that a couple times. I've even seen it with directors. Directors will start out and it just was not the right director, and they'll switch out directors. It's got to be a all cohesive uh, unit when you're doing a movie. Everybody's got to. I mean, there'll be some clashes here and there. We understand that, but generally, everybody's got to be cohesive. You know, there's got to be some kind of synergy between everybody in order to make a successful project. If your
right,
director is an asshole, and you don't want to be directed under that person, there's going to be some problems. If one of your actors is an asshole and you don't want to be with that, you don't want to do a scene with, you're holding your, oh man, I'm going to do this. There's going to be a problem. Your craft, your art, your project is going to suffer. It really is.
Wow. All yeah,
So
all right.
so yeah, there, you just got to find the right team, the right partnership, and everything should flow.
Okay, okay. So, what was the biggest pot of gold you ever made off of a movie that you made?
If I tell you that, the IRS will come after me.
I ain't gonna say that. Don't even say it.
Let's just
No.
let's say this. I I'm just a guy trying to keep gas in my car. All three of them. Okay, just put it like that.
You just put it like that. But okay. So now I'm gonna rephrase the question. So, are you a person where you feel where you can where you learn fast, or are you a person that you learn slower and you get
I'm
it quicker? You get it, as you
I'm a
go.
fast learner. I'm a fast learner. A lot of people don't know that I have a doctorate in business administration.
Okay.
People don't know that I'm a doctor, so I consider myself a mid to high functioning intellectual, so to speak. So I learn very, very fast. And I try to practice or put in play applications that I learn in order to move forward in whatever I'm trying to do, whether it's, life, whether it's, fixing my car or whatever it is, in movie projects. I get advice all the time from, like I said, from Fred Williamson or Camacho, Conan Lee, Gloria Hendry, you know, and I apply it. I apply if it's
Mm,
relevant to what I'm doing. I definitely apply it. Cinda, and I mean she's got a very um, extensive knowledge about movie making. You know, and
mm.
she brings to the table like guys like I said, Hawthorne James, G Man. Even though this was his first movie, he's been in the entertainment business for years.
Right.
So I don't sit here and say that I know everything because I don't. So I try to surround myself with people who have been in this game or have been in the industry or the entertainment industry for a while. You know, and I take their advice and we work it. Oh wow, I remember Hawthorne, Mr. James telling me about this. I remember Fred telling me about this. I remember Gloria telling me about this. I remember Jim Kelly telling me about this. Or Camacho told me this. All these people are telling me these things, and it's applicable to this. Okay, so let's use it. Why reinvent the wheel? These people have laid the path. What am I going to bring to? Only thing I can do is try to make that wheel a little smoother to pass it on to somebody else. I'm not going to make a new wheel. What am I going to do that for? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. 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 So, you know, what okay? Have you ever been knocked out fighting in the ring as a kickboxer?
Yes, yes, I have. So I've been knocked out three times in my life in the ring. So I got knocked out in the Golden Gloves. I was fighting in the New Jersey Golden Gloves. I got knocked out in a fight that I was winning. My coach was like, "Keep your hands up." I was a little cocky when I was like 17, 18. You know, last round, couple seconds left. I guess it was about 30 or 40 seconds left. This guy hits me with a shot I didn't see. I never saw it. You know, my memories of that of waking up in the dressing room, putting my pants on. Right. So I got knocked out there. I got knocked out in the exhibition smoker. I mean, it really didn't mean anything. It was another fight I was winning, and I don't say I got lackadaisical is what I did. I got knocked out with a spinning back fist, but it wasn't a sanctioned fight. It wasn't a real fight. It was supposed to be an exhibition, but the guy he was going balls to the wall. I was like, "Yo, calm down," you know. And in my comeback kickboxing fight, this was a sanctioned fight and professional fight. I got knocked out by a replacement fighter. The original guy I was supposed to fight pulled out, and so they got a replacement. and the replacement is a guy I had sparred a couple weeks before. So I was, I got this. And the guy, his name is, if you follow the UFC, his name is Patrick Barry. So I fought
Oh
Patrick
wow.
Barry. I think in fourth or fifth round, he knocked me out. Hit me with a. I realized what he hit me with when he was pulling him back. He hit me with like a back leg roundhouse kick, and when he was pulling it back, I was like, "Oh wow, he caught me!" And I felt myself falling on my back in slow motion. I was like, "Oh, those are pretty color lights." I'm looking at the ceiling. That light is out over there. I remember seeing all that in my head on the floor. That they need to fix that. That's out. That one's out. And next thing I knew, my corner's running into the ring, trying to get me up off the floor. I was like, I'm okay. I'm okay. So, no, you're not okay. And so I wasn't. When I looked at the tape, I was like, oh, I wasn't okay. So, yeah. So
Wow.
3 times I got my brain scrambled. But outside of that, I was when I was on the top of my game, I was pretty hard to hit. You know, I always moved. I never stood still. Tried to be slick. You know, my idols, fighting idols. You know, guys like Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, um, Matthew Saad Muhammad, most of the Sugar Ray Robinson, most of the guys who are boxers and you know can use angles and hand speed, etc. and so forth. So that's how I tried to pattern my fighting style after, and it was pretty successful. You know, I won 5 world titles in 5 different weight divisions. I finished fighting with a record of I think it was 17 wins and 1 loss, with like 8 or 9
Oh wow.
knockouts like that. So I did okay. I did okay. You know,
Was you ever asked to go pro?
that was pro.
No, I'm talking about like okay, okay. Was you ever like the pro like this? Have you ever who was the most notable boxer kickboxer or boxer that you fought in pros?
Patrick Barry. Patrick Barry.
Oh
In the
wow.
ring, Patrick Barry. Yeah. Yeah. But
Wow.
I fought some other guys, some other gentlemen who were, and I don't remember everybody's name, God forgive me, but who were notable in their sport. And I think that at the time, if kickboxing had more attention put on it, more publicity, you know, they would be household names, you know. Um, I think if I wasn't based out of, you know, and I had restrictions because I was in the Air Force while I was fighting. So if I was able to, I don't know, have not as many restrictions on me as far as what I can say, um, I probably would have, you know, even though I got a little press, I probably would have gotten a lot more. Let's put it like that.
All right, right, right. So let me ask you something. Like, what was your what's your what inspired you to be an actor?
Um, I've always loved acting. I remember acting in the school play. I think at my first play in school, I think it was in first, second grade, I played Santa Claus, you know. And so I found out that I had a fear of being in front of an audience. So I had to overcome that fear. And the only way I could overcome that fear was to be in front of them. I got to high
Hmm.
school. I was in a play Romeo and Juliet, and I was Romeo. So I was like the first black Romeo in the whole high school history. And it was. I was like, I think I can do this, you know. And of
Right.
course, my affinity for this kung fu movies. When you grow up, you want to be Ron Van Cleef. You wanted to be Jim Kelly. You wanted to be Bruce Lee, Wang Yu, Sonny Chiba. I wanted to be all those guys, you know. And the only
Right.
way you can be on a big screen is to be on a big screen. So there it
Awesome.
is.
Yeah. Oh wow. That was a that's a awesome awesome background. You know what I mean? Um. Whew. So, do you have anything else to say to the audience?
Hey, I want you guys. First of all, thank you for letting me be on your show. I want everybody to tune in. If you're in the Sacramento area, come out and see Mad as Hell, September 24th. 2 shows, 6 p.m. Well, 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. at the Guild Theater at 2835th Street in Sacramento. If you can't make it to Sacramento, Mad as Hell will be on Tubi TV, Vudu, Hoopla, and Amazon starting September 13th. Now, the difference is the one that we're showing in Sacramento is the director's cut. So we have an extra added scene there in Sacramento that you won't be able to see on Tubi or Vudu or streaming. So um, as far as that's concerned, for everybody else, thank you all for your support for what we're trying to do here or what we are doing with our films. We got things coming up. We have Soul Cage, which screened very successfully, starring Jim Meyer, Eric Roberts, and Vernon Wells. You might remember Vernon from Commando. He fought Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end of the movie.
Awesome.
We're doing vampire movie, The Thirst. We're doing a 70s retro movie called Mama Don't Take No Mess. We have some other projects coming up. We're doing a urban reboot of Billy Jack and an urban reboot of Three the Hard Way next year. So we got all of those in the pipeline. So there we go.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, well, everybody, thank y'all for tuning into the 58th episode of the In Your Face show. I love y'all, and we out here. Peace. Ba, 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 ba.
Peace.